Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome back to Estancia Lapacho. And things have changed just a little bit while you've been away, while I've been away, for that matter. This is the first video I've recorded for this series for a little while. Obviously, I've had to kind of put a halt to things recently, having been in a situation where I need to move house. That's now done, and I am settling in my new place quite nicely. Still got some stuff to do to sort that out completely, but it does mean that I can now try and get back to a regular recording schedule. So we've had a large injection of cash on the farm. We've been in touch with the Brazilian government, and we've worked out a program with them which has seen some investment in our farm, which has enabled us to upgrade our storage, upgrade our land, and we've also come to an arrangement regarding crops as well. So I'm just going to jump in the little Massey and give you a little bit of a whistle-stop tour around the new look farm. Most of the equipment is still the same. There are a couple of minor changes. First things first, our seeding cultivator, our cultivator that we use to plant oilseed radish, we sold that one off and replaced it with the slightly larger version. So we now have the Laser KS instead. This gives us a slightly wider working width, a slightly larger seed box, but also does obviously increase the power requirements as well. What I've also done is got hold of a second Series Master planter as well, because we need more than just one planter, given the amount of fields that we have to work with right now as well. The combine isn't in there now. Combine now has a new home, and I'll show you that in a moment. We make our way around here. Not much else has changed. Obviously, we had the Chieftain low loader. Had to buy that back once we updated it because it disappeared. What I have done though is sold the silo that was just here. That's gone, and we're starting to place an orchard in its place. So you can see that we actually have a liquid trans tank here for water, so that we can water our orange grove. This is just the start of it. It is going to get bigger, but we ran out of money. We used the last of our sort of government grant, so to speak, to place those trees down. And they are definitely helping. They are bringing in a nice little bit of income all the time. And here we have a new placeable as well. We have this giant equipment shed. So we had two of the orange TT sugarcane trailers. They're gone, and we've replaced them with this one single Massey Ferguson grain trailer instead. Something with a bit more oomph to it. So whereas the previous trailers had a 20,000 capacity each, giving us a total of 40,000, this one has 28,000 litres. So smaller overall, but a bigger individual trailer. And the reason why we only have the one is because we have a truck. We have a Tatra Phoenix 6x6. And as you can see, we also have the relevant sugarcane trailers to go with that as well. So we actually have a decent way of hauling all of our sugarcane now. We can unload our combine using this trailer, tip into these, and then straight back onto the field. And then this allows us to store 133,000 litres before we need to go and unload, which is a massive improvement on what we had before. It is also going to make delivering by road a lot quicker and easier as well. What I've also done is added in a second billet planter, because part of our agreement with the government to get the grant was that we do continue to do sugarcane in quite large volumes. And then over here we have a solar shed, which is also bringing in a little bit of extra cash for us as well. We needed to use something that was quite tall to be able to shelter the sugarcane combine, because it's just so big with that pipe at the back. You can see just how close it is to the roof support there. This is one of the very few sheds that will actually support it. We still have the Bison combine, but we've upgraded harvesting equipment to include this old Massey Ferguson combine as well, to give us an extra combine, a wider header, larger grain tank, and basically speed up our grain production a little bit. And you can see there's more silos. So we had one that was demolished and relocated. So we have 2 silos over here, and we have 2 more in the background as well, for a total of 4 silos and 3.2 million litres worth of sugarcane storage. Now we need a lot of storage because fields 1 and 2 in their original states, and I say original states for a reason, netted us around 1 million litres. So just those 2 fields on their own, with the 3 harvests, filled all 4 of these silos. Now when you factor in other fields on top of that as well, you can see why we needed to increase our storage capacity. We do still have a little bit of sugarcane left in this silo here. We have around 68,000 litres, and that's there purely so that we have seed crop for when we come to actually plant some sugarcane. Part of the deal was that we do a huge harvest of soybean, and then we sell it at a discounted price to the government. So we have the following fields: 14, 1 and 2 as before. Field 3, Field 4, Field 5 and Field 6 have all been added, but they've been recut and reworked. So you can see that Field 5 is actually not really a field anymore, and only part of Field 3 is still a field. Field 2 has been widened and extended, and we've done a little bit of trimming on some of the other fields as well. So if I pull up the mini-map, this is the easiest way for you to see. This is the edge of where Field 3 was, and you can see that Field 3 actually starts all the way down there. This little bit here, the edge of Field 2, is actually an extension where we've cut extra into that field. We've widened it a little bit, and you can kind of tell that a little bit more by how much it overlaps the silo, not the silo, sorry, the shed where you can see our combines. That's how much we've widened this field, and obviously we've cut into Field 3 as well, width-wise, to give us a corridor that we can travel up and down in, and also taken part of the bottom of the field off as well to fit our storage shed at the back with our truck and our sugarcane equipment. Then over here, fields 4, 5 and 6, well, you can see where I've made the cut here in Field 4, and I've widened Field 6 quite substantially. So Field 4 is now a bit narrower, but it's also a little bit longer. I've taken some of that leftover space from Field 5 from placing these silos in, and I've used it to extend Field 6 and also to extend Field 4 as well. So this is where Field 4 now ends, and you can see we've made a nice little increase in size, and we may possibly even extend it a little bit further. One thing I did actually notice while I was seeding is that there is a little patch just there where I don't actually have any ground at all. So I need to replow that after we've done this harvest. And then obviously we've got these 2 silos over here. Nice, plenty of space for turning with not just with equipment but also with the truck and the trailers. And then same again at this end, room to get in and out without damaging our fields. And then that there is the other side of Field 6. So we now have quite a lot of land, as you can see, and we have quite a lot of crop. Now, as I did say, part of the reason that we got the grant was that we also agreed to do a large harvest of soybean, because soybean is one of the most produced crops in Brazil. It's also something that is in dire need, according to the local government, something that they needed. And part of the agreement for subsidising the expansion to our farm was that they would take all of our existing crop, so all of our sugarcane, bar that 68,000 litres or so that we have in there, has gone to the government. So nearly 1 million litres or so, or just over 1 million litres, I think it turned out. All of our soybean, all of the leftover little scraps of crop that we started with for our other grains, so the canola, the wheat, the barley, the corn, that's all gone as well. So literally all we have is that little bit of sugarcane that's left in our silo over there as seeding crop. That's all we have. And we also have to sell all of this soybean to the transport company at this price, which is less than 1,300. So it's a very low price. But that is the cost of our expansion. They gave us an upfront cash investment, which we put to good use, and as a result of that, they kind of bought all of our grain that we had off us, and they also bought a subsidy for the next crop as well, which they decided they wanted to be soybeans. So we will get a nice tidy sum for harvesting these fields, but we won't get as much as we could have got if we'd sold it at a proper price at a location of our choosing. Now we have to kind of sell it to the transport company for a very low price. It's just kind of the cost of doing business, so to speak. So we need to kind of get underway with that harvest. Let's see which truck. Let's use this to pull the trailers. Use our voucher. We do really need to upgrade our grain train at some point, but we just didn't have any leftover money once we got the other things in place, and we had to kind of start with an orchard just to recoup some of the expense that we're incurring with the property maintenance and the equipment maintenance, and the fact that we have so little income coming in and nothing to sell as well, for that matter, apart from obviously this new crop. So we're connected up to these trailers. We're going to go and stick these on the field, and we're going to get both of our combines up and running. We're going to get a worker driving one, and we're going to drive the other. And between the two of us, me and the AI, we're going to pull in our entire soybean crop. So let's start with the little guy on the smaller fields. So he's going to start on field 3. And we are going to go onto field 2. Careful not to damage the field there. Okay, so there goes our worker. We're going to jump into our Massey combine just here. Let's close the door. Engine on. Make our way out. And this is where we're going to start harvesting. Oh, I need to unfold the combine. There we go. That's not a good start. There we go. That's better. Now we're harvesting properly. Right. So I'm going to try and do all of this in first person like this as best I can. So while I've been away, quite a lot of stuff has happened. Quite a lot of stuff has happened. We've had a huge selection of mods go through testing. Some have passed, some have failed. We've had some mod drama, some mod controversy, and some mod awesomeness as well. So we'll start off first of all with the drama. So some of you may know, some of you may not know, Brian from CD Models has recently decided to pull all of his mods from ModHub. He has an issue with the rating system, and while his mods themselves have all had a rating of over 4 stars, he feels that the current system is flawed and it's too open to trolls, and he wants the system to change. Which is, fair enough. I don't think the changes that he wants to see will ever happen. He wants to see an abolition of the 1 and 2 star rating, and mods only be rated from 3 to 5 stars. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of a 5-star rating, if you can only rate from 3 to 5. But I understand, his thoughts on why mods are too easy to troll, with a lot of people just one-starring just because, they might not agree with something that the mod has done or said, or, a modder won't release something so that they want, so they just one-star his stuff. It's open to trolling. So that's why he's unhappy. That's why he wants the mod system to change. And as a form of a protest against the mod system, he has decided to pull all of his mods from the mod hub. I don't know whether anything has changed on that yet. I haven't seen an update on that status. Last time I checked, some of his mods were still available, but they may since have been pulled completely by the time you see this video. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that is the mod drama. Now the mod controversy. There was a Deutzfahr Combine that was released. And for those of you that watch my other Let's Plays, Deutzfarm on Altenstein in particular, you'll know that I have been a huge proponent of, when I say a huge proponent, I've been, wanting and praying and hoping that we would start to get some more Deutz equipment. I'm a huge fan of the Deutz brand, and would love to see more of it on the consoles. Obviously, the PC have access to so many mods, and there's a whole load of Deutzfahr mods available for PC users. For consoles, we haven't had that much, and what we have got, I'm already using on the Altenstein playlist on Deutzfarm. So we have the Condé Master Windrower. No, Tedder, sorry. We have the Condé Master Tedder, and we have the small Deutzfahr mower from the Kverneland mower pack. But that's it, pretty much. We have the AgroStar tractor, we have the Series 7 and the Series 9, but no combines. No larger range, or mid-sized, I would say. That sort of small to mid, around 180 horsepower to 200 horsepower, range of tractor from Deutzfahr available to us. And I was bitterly disappointed by that. I was really hoping that we would get some more stuff. Well, we had a combine released, and of course it was released before I had the chance to download it. Being as busy as I was with moving and everything, I just didn't get the chance to log on and actually download the combine. And the controversy was that the mod had a little bumper sticker on at least one of the two variants of it, because there were two options within that combine. There was a standard edition and a sort of a more deluxe edition of that combine. And one of the two models, I'm not sure which one, because I don't think it was on both, had a little sticker on the back that said, "Don't touch my Deutzfahr." And it basically had two stickmen, one putting a gun to the back of the head of another one, mocking an execution. So, as you can imagine, the mod got pulled pretty quickly. Very quickly. I think within less than 24 hours, that mod was taken off. I think Giants missed the sticker, and as soon as they spotted it, or as soon as someone spotted it, and it started, becoming common knowledge in the Facebook groups and on the forums, Giants immediately reacted, looked at it, saw the sticker, took it down. Now, some people say that it's ridiculous that it's taken down for that reason, and that it's stupid that that was the reason why the mod got taken down. I still don't know 100% if that's officially the reason why it was taken down, but I strongly suspect that was why it disappeared. But here's why I'm not surprised. Deutzfahr is a fully licensed partner of Giants, and somehow I don't think Deutzfahr themselves would pretty much appreciate a sticker like that on the back of one of their combines, from an in-game mod that is officially released by Giants. Even though Giants didn't make the mod for consoles, everything has to go through Giants, so that it can go through all the different licensing checks and security checks and script checks and all that stuff. And Giants are the ones that say yay or nay as to whether a mod is eligible to be released on console. So that holds Giants accountable for anything that's released on console. So it does not at all surprise me that that mod disappeared, because I don't think Deutzfahr would be particularly happy to see something that is effectively endorsed by Giants, on the back of one of their machines. It doesn't exactly fit their corporate brand. So not at all surprised that mod got pulled. So I was gutted because, as I say, I didn't get time to log on and actually grab that combine. So I was like, I've been wanting and hoping and praying for new Deutz equipment for all this time, and when they finally release something, it gets taken down before I get the chance to download it. I was gutted. Well, thankfully it's back. It's been edited. I've had a look and I couldn't see the sticker anywhere, so I think it's gone, although it may still be there. I haven't seen it. I had a quick look around one of the combines myself and I couldn't find it. So it looks like that's been sort of dealt with. However, it looks like our other combine's stopped. Let's just get a worker on that one. Yes, it has. However, the mod was re-released on Friday with some alterations. A few people had complained about the handling of the combine, said it was appallingly bad at turning, and I think the grain tank has also been substantially reduced. I think when it first came out it had a 12,500 litre grain tank. It now has a 9,500 litre grain tank, so considerably smaller tank. I'm not sure if the header size has changed. I think that's come down. It's still the same size, but as I say, 3,000 litres less of a grain tank capacity than it had before. So a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the chance to get the mod when it first came out. Would have been nice to have a really big sized combine that was Deutz Fahr, but at the same time, I'm still not sure whether I can use it, even though I've now downloaded it. I'm not sure I can use it on Altenstein because I think it might just be too big for the map. So I'm going to be looking into that in the next couple of days and seeing whether or not I can actually squeeze that combine around on that map, and if I can, that gives us a combine to add into the playlist at some point in the future. So fingers crossed there'll be enough space for us to actually squeeze around the map with that combine, because I really, really want to use it on Deutz Farm for obvious reasons. Now time for the mod awesome. We have seasons. Amazingly, Seasons is now on console. So those of you with good memories may remember about a month or so ago I posted on my Facebook page a screenshot of the mod testing thread, and it said Seasons on consoles in there on the screenshot. That disappeared out of the mod testing thread literally within seconds of me posting it online. I'm not saying that I'm the reason by any means. I'm not saying I'm the reason it got taken out of there. I'm sure Giants immediately realised they put Seasons listed as a PC, sorry, as a PS4 and an Xbox One mod, and immediately took it off. And they tried to pass it off by saying that they'd made a mistake. It was actually a PC mod that was being tested, and they'd just flagged it incorrectly. And we believed them, and that was it. Some disappointment, but expected response from Giants. Accepted answer from everybody else. End of it. And then Thursday, they released this little teaser video, a little 15-20 second teaser video, and it said Seasons on consoles. And then coming tomorrow, and then everyone was like, what the hell? Everyone just literally lost their shit. It was incredible. The Facebook groups just exploded. They all went nuts. Seasons was coming to console. And Friday came, and well, as I should say, midnight on Friday came, and everyone is just, I've never seen anything like it before. There was such mass hysteria in the groups over wanting to get hold of Seasons. Everybody just seemed to collectively forget how mods were released. It was the most bizarre thing. It was both frustrating and hilarious at the same time, watching people just completely lose their minds trying to figure out how to get the Seasons mod. everyone was suggesting that they needed to do what they needed, they did with the DLC when the DLCs come out, and that's go into their console system settings and change their time zone so that they can convince their system it's actually the next day, and they can download it, early, and so that other people, because they were worried that other people in other parts of the world would have it before them, and thinking that it's like a DLC that you have to download off the store. It's a mod. It's always been a mod. It's always going to be a mod, at least in Farming Sim 17. So it's going to be released the way every other mod has been released. It's going to be released through Giants pushing it live on the mod hub at whatever time they choose to do so. So for me here in the UK, that's typically anywhere from around about sort of 8:30 in the morning through to around about 5-ish in the evening. That's kind of the window, because Giants are based an hour ahead of me. European mainland time is 1 hour ahead of my time, so you're looking at sort of a 9 till 6 kind of window. And we've seen mods released at any point within that. Sometimes sort of bang, straight away at 9 in the morning, sometimes sort of mid to late afternoon, occasionally early-ish morning, sometimes late afternoon, just any time within that window effectively, but always within that window. Never at midnight. So, it was just insane watching all these people just completely, collectively forget exactly what happens when a mod is released. So many people just running around desperately trying to edit their system settings to convince their console that it's midnight and that they can now try and download it, and it just didn't work. It was, as I say, both frustrating to try and explain that it's a mod, it's not DLC, it's going to be released the same way as everyone else, but it was also at the same time hilarious to just see so many people just completely forget how a mod was released. But anyway, it got to sort of 1 o'clock my time in the afternoon on Friday, so around 2-ish at Giants HQ, and they post seasons on consoles now available. And then it took about 10-15 minutes for it to then show up on the mod hub, and everybody just went collectively insane again trying to download it, and it downloaded absolutely fine. There were no repeats of the debacle of the West Coast where Giants loaded it onto the server incorrectly and therefore made it impossible for anyone to download. They were very, very careful to make sure that they uploaded it properly this time, and it downloaded instantly with no issues. I haven't seen a single person say that they've had trouble trying to download it. It's not that big a file actually as well, because obviously to get seasons to work, they've had to work in the background, in the dark, in the quiet, all secrety, hush like, for the last 6 months with Realismus modding to actually make this compatible with their base game. It's meant that they've had to patch the game. So if you haven't downloaded seasons yet, you will need to make sure that you have version 1.5.3 of the game before you download the seasons mod from Mod Hub, because otherwise it's just not going to work. That being said, there is also a hotfix for PC players, because when that patch went live, it did break wheel compatibility for just about every wheel out there. People were posting that my Thrustmaster doesn't work, my G27, my G29, my Cytec wheel, the side panel, none of it works, and it just completely broke controller and wheel support from PC users. So they published a hotfix the next day to sort that issue out. But yeah, Seasons is now available on consoles, along with 5 different climate geos as well. So we have a snow geo, we have a hot weather geo, we have a cold weather geo, we have a rainy weather geo, and what am I missing? So there's Wales for a rainy climate. Ooh, careful. We have Wales for a rainy climate. We have Sweden for a very cold and more intense weather system. We have the snowy lands, I think it's called, geo, which is just constant snow. We have the American Midwest, or USA Midwest Geo, which is a really nice, warm, temperate climate. Trying to think what else we have. Paraguay, which is kind of a sort of a Southern American tropical kind of geo, so a lot more sort of heat and rain, but it's also ideal for sugarcane as well. So lots and lots of different options for seasons. You don't just have to use the default sort of weather engine that's built into the game. You now have 5 additional climates that you can load up as well. Wasn't expecting any of that. I was expecting that we would get seasons once we saw the post, not the geos as well. So even more surprises. It was just fantastic. I have downloaded and had a little experiment with seasons, but haven't had much time because obviously I need to kind of get caught up with the channel. So I need to do a lot of footage recording for this, Deutz Farm, and for American Midwest, and also I need to get some City Skyline stuff recorded, looking at maybe getting some Mud Runner recorded, although I might wait until that gets patched because that's bringing wheel support. I've been trying to test my wheel because this is the first opportunity I've had to actually do that since I bought it about 2 weeks ago. So it's just, as much as I want to just sit and do nothing but play seasons this weekend, I just haven't had the opportunity to spend that much time on it, unfortunately. So yeah, a huge amount of stuff, and obviously as well as all that, we had the release of the Valley the Old Farm. Obviously that's been out for a little while now, and my map tour is available on the channel. If you still haven't seen it, I do recommend you check that out. And I will be bringing a Let's Play series with seasons to the Valley the Old Farm as well. And once I've then got comfortable with seasons and used it a lot, I will also look at bringing a series of sort of seasons tutorials and helpful videos, etc., to the channel. So a lot of content to come, a lot of stuff that I need to record. It's going to be very, very hectic over the next few weeks as I try and make sure that I've got everything caught up and everything covered, and also learn how to use seasons at the same time. So yeah, and we had some other mods as well. We've had some brilliant little trailers from Brandnet. Well, I say little, one's about 33,000, the other one's about 44,500. Some 2 fantastic Brandner trailers as a pack. Excellent trailers, love those, and I will definitely be using those in a future video series, almost certainly on the Valley the Old Farm. We've also had another new brand make its way over. We've had Roper turn up. Roper is an alternate branding of Holmer equipment. Now I don't know if Holmer and Roper have some kind of licensing deal between the two of them, because the equipment is eerily similar, almost identical. But whereas Holmer is obviously the one that we have in-game, which is the official brand, which is fully licensed with Giants, Roper, I think, is possibly a subsidiary of Holmer, or maybe even the other way round, I'm not entirely sure, but they use almost identical equipment with different names, and obviously it's the Roper brand, and they are yellow. So we now have a Roper Tiger, and what was the name of the other Roper mod as well? Both beet harvesters. Let me just double check and see if I can see what they are. So it's the Tiger and the Panther 2. Yeah, so there we go. The Tiger 6 and the Panther 2. They are the 2 Roper sugar beet harvesters that we have had released. And I'm really glad to see Roper, make it into the game as well. Hopefully that opens the door for even more Roper mods in the future, which would be great. I mean, any additional mods that we get in the game is always going to be a bonus. Especially if it brings new brands and new equipment in, then it's all good. So yeah, looking forward to to giving those a run out at some point in the future as well. And then on top of that, like I said, there's been quite a bit of stuff that's been released over the last couple of weeks. We've had so many updates for maps now. So Huda Ranch, obviously that's been updated, as you know, as has Mustang Valley and Golden Days of Farming and Farming Legend, and I think Hagenstedt has been updated as well, all to include sugarcane. Now we're going to sort of have to wait for those maps to be updated with snow masks and full season support, because all those mod maps will work in some way with seasons, but they won't have full seasons functionality, or they won't behave the same way as a map that is fully prepped for seasons. So you won't get the complete experience on some of the mod maps until they've been updated. Now I do know that Bullet Bill has put his map in for a seasons update, as well as addressing some of the other issues with that map as well, including adding sugarcane support. It's also adding in a placeable area and fixing, I think, a couple of other little issues as well. And I believe that will be his final patch for that map. I don't think there will be any more patches for that map for PC or console once that one is released. And yeah, so you can then sort of move away and start working onto a different project. The Valley of the Old Farm is apparently fully seasons ready on console already, so that's why I'm really looking forward to sort of playing the seasons on that one there. And I think I'm just going to go with a standard loadout on that, just the standard seasons mod, rather than adding a geo in. I don't know yet. I might add a geo as well, and possibly change the climate a little bit. Have to wait and see. But I've been thinking about which maps would work well with which of the geos. Now obviously something like Huda Ranch or Mustang Valley would work fantastically, along with, say, American Outback with the US Midwest geo. They just go hand in hand together. This map would go really well with the Paraguay geo. Maps like Sosnovka, I think, would be perfect for the Sweden geo, because it does make snow much more of an issue on that particular climate geo. So that would go, I think, really well with Sosnovka. A lot of people have been saying that the Snowy Lands geo, which gives you permanent snow, would be great to work in conjunction with a forestry map, a logging map. So something like Pacific Inlet logging or Emerald Valley excuse me, or Emerald Valley would be great maps for you to actually run seasons with, using the Snowy Lands geo. So loads and loads of really great sort of options if you want to try and authenticate the weather to the map that you're playing. And obviously the Wales mod, you could look at maps like Thornton or Coldborough. It's gonna give you kind of a very wet and UK-like farming experience. This tractor's a little bit too big, I think, to get underneath that arm. I'm going to have to be very wary of that in the future. Let's get the combine out of the crop. There we go. I'm going to be able to unload just a little bit off the back of this, and then we'll have to go and empty at the silo. We definitely need to look at a larger transport trailer, but this will do for now. this little pair of Brantner trailers. Like I said, I'm looking at getting us a larger trailer, but given that we have that small bison, we still need to keep these for that, because that pipe is at a really low height. So as you saw, we're going to get collision issues with something that's a little bit taller. I'm just going to store this here for now. Although we should really, I suppose, be loading this straight onto a train. With these two, I'm just going to dump these here, then the next one will load onto a train, ready for selling at the transport company. There we go. Right. Let's go back and unload that combine again. The other one's now almost ready to empty as well. We've got an awful lot of soybean to harvest. As I say, we're doing this as part of our contract for that grant. So we aren't going to get as much money as we could do, but we're still going to get a nice tidy little amount of cash. It's still going to give us a nice little injection of money, and we'll put that to work with more equipment, so a much more powerful tractor, which we'll need for some larger, more powerful equipment, and also a larger tipper trailer for grain transport as well. I've got my eye on a semi-trailer to go along with our sugarcane trailers that our truck can haul, make delivering grain a little bit easier. Wait for this to turn around. There we go. Lower the cruise control. There we go. Is our other combine still running? Yes, it is. Maybe it was this one that was on the 80% warning then, not the other one. But we'll go and tag that when it comes back down as well, so... In fact, it looks like the pipe might be out. I can't see if that's the pipe or not. Might just be one of those reflective warning triangles that sticks up off the back of it. But it is still running. Right, we've pretty much emptied that tank. So we'll let the little bison finish that field off. We will probably replace that at some point with a second one of these Massey combines. But for now, it'll do the job quite nicely for now. Oh, it's the grain lid, look, that's what was sticking up, that's what I could see. There we go. So we got a nice big chunk of soybean out of this one as well. You can see obviously our money's going down again at the cost of the wages, but we are getting a nice little boost from our trees every time the clock hits the hour. So it's kind of offsetting some of those wage costs that we're incurring, and when we're not doing any work at all, they are bringing in a couple of thousand a day, nothing substantial. We don't have any manure on those trees, it's just water, so they're paying out at their default rate. And obviously if we were to add manure as well, which we don't have yet, then that would double the income from those trees. We're not going to bother with manure, we're just going to use water only, simply because it's going to cost us a lot of money to get cows up and running, and we just can't afford that right now. I mean, maybe towards the end of the farm we'll hopefully get some cows up. I do want to get those new cows up and running and check them out. But it's going to be a little while before we can do that. So, right, that field is done. A little strip there, look, that we might have to go back and tag. Actually, let's do that now. Let's park this up alongside So I want to be about here by the look of it. Let's get into the bison. Let's go get that little strip there and get this to work on the next field. Got a lot still to get harvested. We've still got field 14 over in the distance now. We've still got field 1, field 6, and our partial field 5 as well. So still quite a bit of harvesting to go. We're going to have to obviously split this over 2 episodes. And there's that little bit that I missed, look, from when I was harvesting manually. So we'll get that. It's all going to add up to a nice little extra bit. So there's not much point wasting it. There we go. So let's close that down. Let's lift and turn off the header. Let's go get started on field 1. Just going to wait for that Massey combine to turn out of the way. Let's just nip in front of him while he's backing up. We'll just cut through. So we're about halfway through our field 2 at the moment by the look of it. As I say, we've still got field 1, field 6, which is a huge field, and field 4 still to go. So we'll get this guy started here on field 4. Sorry, on field 1. And I think this is a good place to end the episode. So thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Estancia Lapacho very soon.